Okay, so this class is going to focus on editing your pictures on your iPhone, your iPad, or you can do this even on your MacBook if you'd like. So whatever platform you prefer, as long as you're on an Apple product, that should work for you. So we're going to talk about the editing tools that are on the Apple device. We'll walk through making some simple adjustments to things like the richness of the color on your photo, the brightness, the detail, and so on and so on. And also cropping the edges of your photo just to kind of change it, or to sort of crop out anything you didn't want in the shot. So we'll go over all of that. And I am going to stop there for just a second and see if anybody had anything specific they wanted to learn about editing the photos they take on their phone or tablet.
Scott.
Yeah.
You've given us a lot of information on apps we can download that do things various, one or the other. And I sort of got into them, but then I wonder if it just wouldn't be easier and cheaper to buy something called the photo expressions, the Photoshop expressions. I think it's like $99.
Oh, Photoshop expressions. Okay, that one I'm not
Essentials.
Essentials. That sounds, yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, Photoshop does quite a bit, so that's an option as well. There's another one that you might be interested in, Kathleen, called Affinity Photo, which is less expensive. I'll type that into the chat. I still use Photoshop, the full Photoshop, myself, but Affinity Photo is a one-time cost of, I think, like maybe $50. And when they send out upgrades, those are all for free. A lot of the people who have been coming to the photography classes and photography get-togethers on GetSetUp rave about Affinity. So a lot of you know Abbott. Abbott is a huge Affinity Photo fan. Detlef is another one who's tried it. So a lot of people. So that might be one worth checking out too. And I don't know if the learning curve is as hard as it is with Photoshop, but.
Okay, I've tried the other ones and I just run into too many problems with, they're saying they can do one thing and they can't do it. So I thought, well, why don't I just go for it? But I will try the Affinities. The recommendations sound wonderful. So thank you.
Yeah, I think also, Kathleen, there might be a free trial on that one. So that'd be a good chance to try it out without paying for it. So,
all right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, I imagine some of you have the latest models of the iPhone. There may be some who have earlier ones, like an iPhone 7 or 8. Most, I think a good chunk of the features I'm going to be going over today will be on most of the latest models of the phone. If you don't happen to see something when I'm showing my screen, let me know, and I'll give you a read on whether that would be on your model or not. Also, if you would like, as we're going through this, to open up a picture on your phone and kind of walk along with some of those edits, along with what I'm doing to one of my photos, please feel free to do that if you like to kind of learn that way. And before we get okay, let me get that off my screen for a minute. Well, no, I'm going right into this. Oh, here we go. So what Apple Photos does, just to give you a feel for all the things you can do here, is it will, I'm not sharing my screen. Here we go. There we go. Okay. It'll crop the edges of your photo. It'll adjust the exposure. If for some reason your photo gets overexposed, you can fix that. It will make the photo more vibrant and rich. Sorry for the typo there. You can adjust the highlights and the shadows, make the color more intense if you want. You could change it to black and white if you want. All kinds of things. And it can even reduce some graininess in a photo. That would involve something called noise reduction. Noise is basically fuzziness or pixelization or anything like that in a photo. So I am going to open up my phone screen and walk through some of these. Okay. Let me reduce that so I can keep an eye on questions that might come in the chat. So when you are ready to look at your photos and maybe edit one, if you're interested in doing that, you just go to your photo library and open that up. And look for a photo that you might want to play around with. So I am going to take just this little flower basket here. Not the greatest photo I ever took, but just wanted to grab something. And I'm going to see what kind of edits I can make. So to do that, I'm going to go up here to edit. And you'll see right away, it pops up a bunch of different options for me. Now, the first thing I want to show you here is you're going to see this symbol down here, and that brings up all these different adjustment tools. And I'm going to have a list of these in the class notes that I send you afterward with a little description of what each of these different tools do. So the first one that you'll get is this little magic wand, and that is your auto enhancement tool. So if I tap on that, it was a little bit subtle, but if you notice, it just kind of enhanced the photo a little bit real quickly. I'll do that one more time. I'm going to tap on that, and it just brightens it up a little bit, brings out the color in the hyacinths a little more. So that's one thing you can do, or you can go here. I mentioned you can adjust the exposure. So that would brighten it up a little bit. And you can work with the brilliance. And brilliance will just, in a very controlled way, enrich things in the photo. Colors, detail, things of that nature. Highlights will allow you, if there's something you'd like to highlight a little more in the photo, maybe some of the whiteness in the background. I don't think that would work here, but that is an option. Shadows will, say you've got maybe too much shadow in your photo, too dark, you can adjust that so there's less of that. And contrast, we'll just add a little contrast to your photo if you want to get a wider range between the highlights and the shadows. Oh, here we go. So black point brightness, we'll just brighten it up a little bit. Black point basically is used to just focus on the detail in the shadows. So here I can just focus very directly on the darkest shadows in the photo and darken them or lighten them if I want. I don't typically use this one very much, but you can try that out. Then you get into saturation. So that applies to your color. And you'll notice here that as I do that, I really brighten up the color. I don't use that one as much as I do vibrance, but vibrance I like because I think it brings out the color without going overboard. With saturation, it's just gonna sometimes make the colors almost unrealistically colorful. This, I think, does a nicer job. Warmth will just make your photo a little, give it a little bit more of a golden tone to it. And if you go the other direction, and I'm just using my thumb here to slide up and down. If I go the other direction, it gives it more of a cooler or bluish tone to it. And this white dot here is always your center point. The tint will just maybe does exactly what it says. It just plays with the tint of the photo a little bit. Sharpness. If you have a photo that maybe is a little blurry, or maybe a part of it is blurry, you can sharpen it a little bit. Definition will do that too. And this one was pretty clear to begin with, but if I had one that wasn't quite as solid there, I might want to enhance the definition a little bit. Noise reduction, I mentioned before. This you might want to try using when you've got a photo that's maybe taken in a little bit of low light, and so there's a little bit of graininess to the quality of it. If you use noise reduction, it'll take a lot of that away. And then a vignette just simply allows you to put a vignette around your subject like this. And if you go the opposite way, it'll create kind of a white vignette around it.
I don't see what you're talking about.
On the vignette,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Is that
So
the background that they're talking about?
it's the corners.
Oh, the corners, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Can you do an can you do an oval?
An oval. You mean shape the photo like an oval?
Yes.
I don't know that you've got the capability of doing that with just the editing apps in your iPhone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Other questions on those adjustment tools?
Yes, this
So
is
Scott,
Karen.
okay, okay.
I had a question. You mentioned on one of them that it would correct something on a part of the picture. How does it know what part to correct?
Some artificial intelligence, I guess you would say. One thing to understand with editing functions on a smartphone, photo editing functions on a smartphone, as well as with some of the apps that are available for you to download and use, is that this is all computational photography. So it has some built-in artificial intelligence, as I mentioned, that can kind of pinpoint areas that need improvement. That is why I can press on that magic wand and just get an instant enhancement in my photo. So I'm back to the original now, but if I go like that, it brightens it up a little bit. It's not total, but all of these other options allow me to focus on different parts of the photo and lighten it up a little bit. So when I'm talking about different parts of the photo, it may not necessarily be a certain object within the photo, but certain features, certain, what's the word I want to use? I guess certain features of the photo, like the quality of the color, the contrast between the highlights and the shadows and things like that.
But it is looking at the whole picture, not
Yeah.
just the yellow. You can't just go
Right.
to the yellow flower. Okay.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Got it.
Right. That actually is on an iPhone. If you go into information, and that just gives you some other options for it, but I want to show you what happens if you do it on a MacBook. Or if you want, you can buy iCloud, or not buy, you can get it for free. iCloud for Windows. If you're using a Windows PC or laptop, you can use your, you can access your smartphone photos by downloading this app. Just go to the Microsoft Store or the Apple Store, do a search on there for iCloud for Windows. You download that, and then you can use this photo feature just like you would on a MacBook. Everything you see here is sitting on my phone right now, but what you're viewing right now is my computer screen, my laptop screen. But all of these I took with my iPhone. So let's say you take a picture like this. I took this yesterday. This gives you a little more latitude than what I was able to show you on the phone. So when I hit edit here, the interface is a little different, but I can even play with the color a little bit more. As I scroll down a little bit, I get selective color. So let's say I do want to brighten up that green a little bit. I can do that, and it would only touch the green.
Oh.
Or I could change the hue of that green. And make it a little bluer or anything like that. This may not be the best photo to demonstrate that because it's a pretty much all green. So let me look for another one that might have a little more in it. Let's say we take this barn picture here. Okay, so I'll go back down here, and if I just play with the saturation, maybe I want to keep the barn really really bright, but I want to sort of get rid of everything else, or lower the color intensity of it. Look what happens. If I just hit saturation, everything goes down. Maybe I want to keep that red in the barn. So if I go down to selective color, I can click on red, and I can brighten that red in there. Maybe for some of the, I probably want to go with a yellow of some sort to tamp down some of the leaves and the vegetation there. So I would do something like that, and that would take it down a little bit. Same with the
Scott,
sky.
where do
Go
you
ahead.
get that from? Where do you get that long menu? How does that show up? I don't,
So
what do you click on?
that would be edit. If you so let's say I'm done with this one. If you'll look here, when I open this up on my computer, I go to edit, and it gives me all those functions.
How do you do that, Scott? How do you take your photos on your photos and look at them on your computer?
So that's that's where you would want to, depending on what you're using, if you're using a MacBook, your photos are right down here. Or just look in your apps in your computer for this Apple Photos symbol. And that is where you access this. If you're using a PC or any kind of Windows device, what you'd want to do is download iCloud for Windows. And you can do that on the Microsoft Store or the Apple Store. And that will bring you this same kind of interface with your photos. You just want to add that to your PC software.
Okay, I'm thinking about getting rid of the iCloud. Am I going to lose that ability then?
Yeah, for your PC you would, or your Maggie, what kind of computer are you?
Mac.
You have a Mac. Okay. If you get rid of your iCloud, it's going to be a little more difficult to interface between your desktop and your phone, because what happens is what I'm really accessing here are all of my photos on the iCloud.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how I'm able to look at them across different devices, because they're actually on the internet. So all of these sort of directly access my iCloud account on the internet. Yeah. Just one other thing I'll show you too on this selective color. If I would want to reduce some of the blue in the sky, I could do that too. Or intensify it if I want to go the other direction. So those are just some additional controls that you have. Okay.
Why does the color affect, doesn't it, how does the color affect just one thing instead of all of the things? I mean, when you do the red, does it make everything redder, or how does that work?
That's where, if you go down to selective color on
Mhm.
this, that's where you can work on specific colors within the photo.
Okay, so it just makes the barn red and the rest of it doesn't make redder.
Right. So if you can see here, Kathleen, where I've got this
Uh-huh.
little,
Right.
yeah. So right now it's on blue. So that's how, if I increase the saturation, what it's going to focus on is the saturation in the blue within the photo.
Okay, all right, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Scott, can you show us how to like make a circle around one of the trees? I'm having trouble. I've forgotten how to do that. You can go to a photo and like circle it and draw an arrow. So when you're showing someone that you want them to cut that tree down, you've circled it. I know
Oh.
it's somewhere in here, but I forgot markup. I think some kind of markup. I think.
Yeah, there is. Let me see if I can find it on here. I know where it is on my phone.
It might be under those three dots up there. I can't remember the three dots up there.
Yeah, on the three dots, if
Maybe.
you're doing it on your phone screen, oh, and of course this would have to go out. But I'll show you where to find it there.
Okay. That's very helpful. Like if you've got a landscaper coming over and you want to circle a tree to tell them that's the one to cut down because you're not home and you don't want them to cut down the wrong one.
The
Anyway,
wrong tree,
circling
yeah. Yeah.
It's very helpful.
That's an interesting scenario to go after. So let me get out of this one real quickly and I'll show you that. Okay, so maybe there is a photo or a tree in here I want them to get rid of. If I go to edit, and yeah, you see this little pencil or pen symbol here?
Yes.
If I take that, that's my markup. And I've got options here as to what color I want to use. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to circle. Well, let me do this one. Not very thick. Maybe I'll use this highlighter. Yeah, there we go.
How did you-
And I'll circle the barn. So say I want the barn torn down instead of the trees. And
Oh.
you can always hit this little, if you didn't get the circle you wanted, if you hit one of these, it reappears when I tap this one going forward, and the one that points backward, I just click and that goes away. I also can control the color. So maybe I want to make that black. And then it goes like that.
Is there something where you can make, where you can put an actual circle in there if you want a circle rather than a drawn circle?
Not that I know of. I think it's just a matter, this is just a markup kind
Okay.
of, yeah.
Not
But
that's a-
insert,
Go ahead.
not insert circle or insert a pointer or insert any of those things.
No, no.
All right.
What happens to the original photograph then?
So if I make a change to a photo, let's say I'm gonna just, let's see here.
I mean, once you mark it up, Scott,
Once
You
I
mark
mark
it-
it up,
yeah,
so that will stay on there. Let me go back here and do that. All right. So I'm gonna hit done. And then done again. So now it's staying there, but let's say a while later, I come back to this and I want to get rid of that. I just go back to, I open it up again in edit. And down here, you'll see I can hit revert and it will revert to original and that circle goes away. So any edits you make here on your phone or on your computer, you can always go back to the original without making a copy of that photo.
is there a way of making a copy and marking up the copy instead of the original?
If you do this little arrow down here,
Where's that little arrow?
or I don't know if it's an arrow, a square with the arrow coming out of it, and I tap on that and I say copy photo, then I'll have a second copy of it.
Is there something where you can click on the photo and then do make duplicate, or is that just on a Mac?
On a Mac, let me see what we have on the Mac. Okay, if you click on any photo and you want to copy it, let me see what you can do here.
I think I go to file copy or edit copy, but there might be a better way.
Yeah, let me get rid of that. Okay, let's say I take this photo and I think I have to do this in,
Can you left click on it and see what happens? Or whichever, I'm not sure which.
well, I'm on a Mac, so my Mac's not gonna do it. But if I tap here and see if it will allow me to, yeah. Not seeing an easy way to just copy it.
Hey, I do this all the time. I don't know if it's easy, but I just go, as you've got that picture highlighted, I just go up to the menu where it says Apple Photos File Edit. I just go to edit copy, I think. Edit,
Yeah, you can do that there.
Or,
Yeah.
or Control C.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And if I hit copy, then I think I don't know if that means I can paste it someplace or. No, I
Oh,
guess
it
not.
does. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I actually use it to paste into emails.
Yeah,
copy it.
yeah. I don't know that I don't know if it's gonna work here, but
Oh, I see. It didn't make a
Yeah.
duplicate. Oh, but there's another way you can make, if you hit edit, I think it's a duplicate. If you go back to edit and go down on the menu, oh, it must be file. There's one that there, shoot. Well, I
Um,
thought there was one that.
what you
that-
can do here is export, and that will save the photo, say on a desktop or something like that. So you could have that copy there. But again, you can always go back into these photos and go back and just hit revert and go back to your original.
I clicked right and it says duplicate photos. It had a drop down list. I'm not sure
Okay.
what right is right, but the one where it's to your right, if you, your mouse is to your right, not to your left.
Okay. You talking about editing the photo like
No.
this?
Yeah, no, normally it just clicks on the photo and it gives you a drop down list. Maybe try the other side because I always confuse right and left with the mouse. So
Okay.
you click on the photo with the,
Yeah, I've got the photo right here, but I've got these options here, but I'm not seeing a whole lot in terms of,
well, click
making
on one
it-
side and then click on the other and see if you can do what I'm doing. Click on the photo itself on. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Is there a drop down list on the other side
no.
of
Mm-mm.
the mouse? No? Huh, that's
No.
weird.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well,
I don't think so. No, it just takes me to the next one.
okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but I will,
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm not getting that same effect, but
okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll send you a screenshot. Maybe that will,
okay, great. Thanks.
Okay. maybe you can figure
Scott.
out what, I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say, maybe you can figure out what I'm doing, even if I can't figure out what I'm doing.
Okay, okay.
So
Okay, I
Scott,
think
there
that-
seems to be no drop down screen on the iPhone when I click on edit.
Right. On the iPhone, you wouldn't get that drop down screen. It would all be right there on the device itself or on the screen itself when you open up
Okay.
edit. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
like when you see here, when I hit edit, a lot of those functions are down
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw them. Yeah.
yeah.
And then you move this, the thing at the bottom with the
Mhm.
degrees, you move it back and forth until you're
Right.
satisfied.
Right,
Until you're
exactly.
satisfied with the quality of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So
But it
as
doesn't,
you,
it doesn't show anything about how you could get something more yellow or green or red or change the ceiling or something. It doesn't.
yeah, there seems to be a little bit more of a limitation on the mobile device as opposed to the desktop version.
Okay.
So
All
you
right.
don't have as
Mhm.
much control over the different colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So here's another thing. Whoops. Another thing I want to show you. Let me go into another photo here to talk about cropping. I've got a good demo. Okay. So here is a picture that I took several years ago. And you'll notice here that the horizon is really kind of skewed. I was not really holding my phone straight, and I want to fix that. So when I open it up in edit, I'm going to go over here to this cropping tool. So that's right here. And I want to straighten up that horizon. So I just bring my thumb down here and I just kind of move my thumb a little bit to the left. and you'll see it starts to straighten up. And I've got this grid here, so I can use these lines to kind of guide me in straightening up that up. And now I've got a much straighter horizon. And then these tabs at the corner, I can grab those, just put my thumb on it and move it. And if I wanted to, say, get something out of the photo, or maybe center my subject a little bit more, something like that, I can do that. Another little trick here, if you look up at this little icon here, this will allow you to shape the photo in some standard settings, like 5x4. These are sizes where you might want to get a photo printed. These would fit 7x5, 4x3, 5x3, 16x9. It's a little wider, but it gives you those standard sizes, but you can also just do it free form. And then you hit done.
How did you get to that option? I missed that. How
So
did you get to that?
when you go to edit and you go down to cropping,
Oh, yep.
and that will bring it all up.
I've never noticed that, and that is so helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. And again, anything that you want to go back later to the original, you just hit that revert and you're back to it.
How do you get the revert? How?
So after you've edited a photo, if you open it up later in here, it will be down there in the corner.
Oh,
So for this one, let's say I do that and then I close it out.
oh, you have to close it out first. Hit
Yeah,
done.
yeah, exactly.
Hit done.
Later
Okay.
on, I can come back to it, and there's that little red revert text down here, and I can go. That will take me back to my original.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's got a nice memory in here to remember your original.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, good. Wow.
yeah,
Hit revert and then revert to original.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Thank you. Oh my, this is so helpful.
This is so helpful. Hey, I have another question. I've lost something here. There was something where I just saw where on your pictures on the eye for information, there's a little indication you can go in and identify, like if it's a plant, it helps you identify, but I've lost how to do that. Do you know what I'm talking about? On the little, when you open up a picture now, there's an eye on the bottom. There should be an eye on the bottom for information.
Yeah,
And
right here.
sometimes- Yes, but it doesn't have that little, sometimes it has a little dot. Yeah, that's it. How did you do that? Oh, you just hit I regardless.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just hit I, and what that does. So what this is here is the metadata for this photo, and metadata is information that is captured the minute you take a digital photo. It won't work. Obviously, it won't work that way with, say, a film camera or anything like that. But this is great for sorting things, and by date, by location. Look at how this was captured. This shows the date that I took this photo. It's also showing the location, and it's showing what device I used to take it. So that can come in real handy. Yeah.
and I've been using it on vacation. If it's a plant and you get up close and take the plant, the eye has a little dot. And when you go into your metadata right there, right above the word that says Sunday, it'll actually say show more and tell you the name of the plant.
Okay, okay.
And I
Me-
just discovered that.
You'll notice here, you can also add a caption, and a lot of this will automatically be categorized for you. The other thing that's built into this app is object recognition technology. So it's going to be able to tell that a picture has a flower in it. So that if you go back here and go into your photo library and you want to search for something down here, let's say I want to do a search for sunset pictures that I've taken. Let's see what I get. There you go. They all show up here. Okay. All right, and there are a couple of questions from the lounge. Can you change the shape of the photo, circle, or oval? So I don't, if we're talking about that little marker I did, the markup, it's pretty much your finger running around it. So it's not really, it's all under your control with the way you circle it or put a square around it or whatever you want to do. And another question, does the original always stay in memory on iCloud even as you make changes? And yeah, it will. Okay. So one other thing that comes with the app is something called your filter list. I'm just trying to find a good photo to demo that with. Let's say I'm going to take this picture here. All right, come on, there we go. And I'm going to go into edit. And a couple things I'll show you here. First of all, you'll notice I took this in portrait mode. So a lot of you will have portrait, most of you will have a portrait mode on your phone. And that means that you get a really nice depth here, really shallow depth of field, so that your subject in the foreground is really sharp and everything else is kind of blurry in the background. So all the emphasis is on your subject. It says portrait mode, doesn't mean you have to take portraits with it. You can take other shots like this.
But Scott, when I put on portrait mode, I get a picture of my face. What am I doing wrong?
I think what happened is you might have hit on your camera. You might have, I'm just switching over here real quickly. You might have hit this, which is your front cameras. So what happens is it sets it up so you're taking a selfie, actually.
Okay, thank you. That explains that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we take this photo. First of all, in the portrait mode, you've got all these different lighting options. So I can just test these out to see if anything might be preferable. Like contour light there. This one, it doesn't work really well, but you can have a stage light. This works really well for photos of people, which can be really nice. And you've got some other options there too. So those are just some of the lighting effects you can use. But then you'll notice up here where it says f5.6. That is the depth. That number refers to the depth of your photo. So if I want to change this, and maybe I don't want the background to be quite as blurry, I can adjust that like so. Or maybe I want to increase the blurriness. I can go the other direction and look at that. So that allows you to control that. And then you have these different filters. That's going to be this little symbol here, these 3 conjoining circles. And when I tap on these, each one of them has a different, gives a photo a different treatment. For vivid, it just brightens it up. All of this is adjustable too by just moving your finger or thumb back and forth. You've got warm, which will give it a much more golden hue. This will cool it off. Here, it makes it a little more dramatic. And if you go all the way to the end, you can even turn it into a black and white photo. And you've got 3 different styles of black and white that you can try out. So let's say I choose this and then I hit done. There's my black and white photo. Now, what if you decide, oh, I really liked it better in color? Again, just go back and hit revert. And you're back to where you were before.
Scott, when I'm on my Mac and I go to edit, I can go down, I can choose the filters, and it's this, but you seem to have many more filters than drop down. So did you go to another place and choose filters?
So the filters on my phone are right down. Let me show you. This is a little delayed here, but the filters are right down here.
Okay.
And you want to tap on that. Once you do that, they open up.
Because I seem to remember just having like 6 filters or 8 filters. I don't remember having all of the stuff that you have shown it. This is on my computer.
Okay, on the computer, you'll find, if you go to filters, that they're right up here at the top.
Right.
And you basically have the same list.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking you had more.
Yeah, no, pretty much the same. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So one other, well, I'm going to stop there and see if there are some other questions. And if we have time, I'll show you a little bit with the live button.
I have a question. On your iPhone, oh, am I? Yeah, unmuted. On your iPhone, when you hit the search button and the people show up, how do you name the people?
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
So to do that, I'm going to do this on my phone screen. All right. Whoops. So that what you would find when you go to albums. So here's my photo collection. I'm going to go over here. And when I go to albums and I scroll down, I find people and places. So here are all the people. And you see, I've got some names attached, others not. But let's say I want to take this and add a name to it. I'm going to tap on that face. And every photo in which this individual appears is already pulled together in a collection. So I didn't have to do that at all. It's got facial recognition technology in it, so it can group things for you like this. Then I can hit that add a name.
Where is add a name? That's where I'm add a name up here. Oh,
add name right here at the top. Yeah. And if you hit that, it gives you the opportunity to just type in Marty and confirm. If it sees one that it's not sure about, it will ask you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you.
And what's really nice about this, Karen, if later on you want to do a search, here's another name here. So if I go in here and I do a search for Olivia, there I am. And it shows me how many pictures I have and where she appears in it. She doesn't necessarily have to be the dominant figure in that picture, but as long as she appears in it, I can find her in this group of photos. So that makes for easy searching. And yeah, Kathleen, you had a hand raised?
I got muted. Sounds dumb, but can you hold up your mouse and tell me, if you're doing it this way, which is right and which is left? Your first finger is left, or your third finger is right, or vice versa?
Okay. I'm not sure I'm understanding the question. Are you?
Okay, because I get confused with right and left, what they mean about right and left. I mean, my first finger is on the left side of my mouse and my third finger is on the right side. But when they say click left and click right, what are they talking about?
So if they mean click left, left mouse click would be the left side of the mouse,
Okay,
and right click or right mouse click would be right click, the right side of the mouse. Yeah. I
Okay,
think
let me
most mouses
Mhm.
now have those two sides separated, at least on all the Windows computers, so that there's clearly a designation between the two sides. I don't have that on my Mac, but other people.
Let me try duplicating pictures again. I think the problem was when you go into your photo library, you don't click edit, you just click the photo on the right
Mhm.
side and it should have the drop down list.
Okay, you're doing that on your PC, right?
Right,
All right. So let me see what happens here if I try that. Yeah,
Just-
I don't get a, I'm
Just
clicking.
actually go in your, okay, click something here, anything here on your right. Wait, before you bring it up, click it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, click it with your right.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
it may have something to do with this being a Mac. I don't know, but
okay,
yeah.
whatever. All right, well, I'm sort of, okay. I will try and send you what's happening with my computer. Okay,
Okay,
thank you again.
great, great.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So we have time. Well, we're getting close to the end of the hour. So I may need to wrap up here, but I hope that gives you a good head start on